Shaping markets. For that, we want to welcome in Dale Smothers, President and CEO, RDS Wealth Management. Dale, thank you so much for joining us today. I want to get your thought on this. You say the market is trending in the right direction. Does that take into account some of the pressure that we saw yesterday from yields pushing higher?
Yeah, good to be with you, Diane. You know, the market is trending in that direction that we want to see, and clearly the Moody downgrade didn't help markets, which is a lot of what we are seeing in the last couple of days, yesterday specifically. I think that Moody's downgrade is what people are concerned with, but I do know that we have the deficits square in sight. That is what we're attacking here with our current trade war. And for that reason, it doesn't give me a great deal of concern. I think that that's something that the current administration is trying to focus on, and I don't see that Moody's downgrade being something that negatively affects us for a long term. In the short run, it definitely affected a lot of growth companies, as you saw yesterday, a lot of sell-off in names that had been theoretically overbought anyway, so it was kind of time for that. We were due for that type of correction or that type of pullback, but it was sparred by that Moody's downgrade primarily.
What's your base case? So obviously they're trying to push this tax bill through Congress. The goal is to reach it before Memorial Day. What's your base case for how markets are set to shape up, especially as we're about to begin summer?
Diane, I believe that the markets take this bill, if it passes, clearly if it passes before Memorial Day, take this bill as positive news, getting serious about spending, getting serious about tax cuts, and the tax cut that was set in 2017 being made permanent. That is only going to help markets. The labor market is strong right now, and that's a great thing. There's a lot of uncertainty that will start to square out over this next 3 months through summer. China being one of those with the potential for that trade deal to be finalized. It's already been a net positive for most businesses in America with tariffs, adjustments on the 90-day reprieve even. So I believe that not only this big, beautiful bill that we hear about being passed perhaps by Memorial Day will help us going into summer, but a lot of other things, a lot of uncertainties that we have right now start to clear out, and with that, the market reacts favorably.
Okay, so are tariffs really essentially on the back burner while the U.S. government works things out with different countries? Because, for instance, July 9th is the next date on the calendar when you think of those, you know, kind of overall higher tariffs that were across the board tariffs. And then August 12th is the U.S. and China. Does the market no longer take its cues from that until we hear something new on that front?
I think as we approach that July date, if there hasn't been some sort of clear direction from the White House, we will see uncertainty coming back to the markets. You know, Diane, we kind of called this 5,800, 5,900 in the S&P volatility, and that's because people have actually experienced that markets can go down. For years, we've seen markets up, up, up. 2022, theoretically, since that period of time, you've been up pretty substantially. Now that we see that markets can be pulled back, people are reassessing their risk. So this 5,900, if we will, maybe even a restraint, I think will be broken if we see the July date pass with resolution. If we see that July date approaching and we have no resolution, I do see us testing a 5,600 point number in the S&P again.
Okay, you flagged some upside potential for several names: Nvidia, Apple, Royal Caribbean. Let's talk a little bit about Nvidia and Apple. Nvidia is higher today. It's got earnings due next week. Where do you see what fuels? What's your thesis behind this one?
My call on Nvidia is that we see a beat and even potentially a raise. AI is back again. You know, there was a period of time where a lot of analysts were saying the AI trade is dead. We've never bought into that. It certainly took a hiatus there for a while. Nvidia's kind of been bouncing pretty flat for the last 6-12 months. I think that we start to see it breaking out of some restraints there. And theoretically, if you think about Nvidia, we've got to also mention another one that I've got on my watch list here, which is Coreweave. If Nvidia is the AI computer chip making company, Coreweave is the company that trains the AI to perform well using the chips that Nvidia performs. I'm from the bluegrass state. We're big horse advocates here, and if you think about horse racing, it makes a lot of sense. If the horse is the AI software itself, or the AI, the artificial intelligence, the track would theoretically be Nvidia, and we have CoreWeave coming in as the horse trainer, training AI on what it needs to be doing, and essentially developing the artificial intelligence for these companies like Apple, Microsoft. These are companies that we're all bullish on going into the end of 2025. As we approach 2025, I think you're going to see these numbers, or 2026 rather, I think you're going to see these companies much higher.
What makes you bullish on Apple, especially given some of the tariff risk? It has more tariff risk, and it's been an underperformer among the Mag 7.
You're exactly right, Diane. More tariff risk, as well as the antitrust lawsuit that is certainly causing a lot of volatility. This is the time to buy a name like Apple during these dips. If you see small pullbacks, we're a long-term buyer of Apple. I think it's a household name. It's not going anywhere. More and more households and businesses are integrating Apple products. I think it's a long-term buy, and we're using these opportunities as buying opportunities as we start to see the antitrust lawsuits cleared away. This big, like you mentioned in August, this big August deadline of China perhaps being finalized, it's going to give us some tailwind in names like Apple specifically.
Well, over a 1 month period, it's been playing some catch up, but it's certainly not performing the same as other members of the Mag 7, and it's still near bear market territory on a year-to-date basis. We'll see if that bullish momentum returns to Apple. Dale, we'll have to figure out your investment thesis around Royal Caribbean. We'll take that online. That's Dale Smothers, RDS Wealth Management. Appreciate your time today, Dale. Thank you.